Thank you very much. I just prepared a short presentation with a few slides, and hope that I will try to give you to take you through the development of the SBRA. And I'm very privileged to say that we have a 10th anniversary of the SBRA this year. We start actually of 2005, and okay, thank you very much. We can just slightly go on with the presentation. So this means that on the 10th anniversary we start. Some of you, a lot of you, I think, remember that we start with the 3 registries: companies, leasing, and pledge, and register. And when we host the conference in 2008 in Serbia, in Belgrade, we had the how can I wave or something? What can I do? Please. When I raise the hand, just go on, please. So it means that yeah. Today we actually reached the central institution within our country. So I do not want just to repeat things which are already mentioned. Especially you are the people who understand quite good. We are working on the same job. Those figures with the 3 registries, those numbers are our best results. The best results actually in any particular registry, because our work in Serbia, Sweden, Norway is measured in any country with those figures, which means that we had approximately 400,000 of entities. Now we are near the million of the thousand, not entities but customers, because not all the customers are entities. We have groups of the registries. I will show you that maybe later. But actually, when I came to this conference, on Monday we start with the 18th registry. Actually, it was a pre-harvest registry, which means that a registry in agricultural area. What should I do with now, please? Next slide, please. So with the yeah, thank you very much. Those empty places means that till the end of this year we will have a disqualification registry of disqualified persons, disqualified directors. We are waiting the final solution in the law. There is a lot of discussion about that. And building permissions, central electronic system, which means that we will have approximately 20 platforms. So the main idea is actually which we want to present. When we start, before the 10 years, we were the dashboard, the empty dashboard, which means that this is a part of the movie, 1 minute something. But can you activate this, please? Just approach with the mouse on the screen, and the play is down there. So, okay, this is next slide. Okay, the movie is finished. It means on the empty dashes we draw actually the registries, because it is, you know, always the dilemma. Should you reform the current institution, or you should bring the institutions from the empty paper? So we did that from the beginning. And I'm privileged to say that Andrea Marasic, who should speak today, also was the board president of my board from the beginning till the 2010. And we share, the team in the SBRA shared the gratitude to her also, and the team was very wide. But during that process, I should be very open. We learned a lot from you, and our results also partly the results of I feel that, and I need to express that, we learned a lot. We learned from those surveys which we are dealing with, and the figures are, speaking more than any pictures in that. So we have, for example, when we speak about the pledges, we reach in the small countries such as Serbia, $50 billion, which means secured claims in the pledge registry. So that registry will be related from Monday with the agricultural registry. So in agricultural products, for example, everybody who wants to put into the pledge the harvest, pre-harvest, he will be registered also and followed here. But also behind is the 25 kilometers of paper. Our experience is that on 2008 we finished the building, very nice building, but it is frustration that we need to keep and save that documents. Maybe the judges like that, maybe the courts like that, but of course we are fond of also keep the documentation, keep the paper, and following this modern technology. We need to be a little bit sure on what will be actually the model of our work. Speaking about the reliability, I think that you listen today and always a lot of things, but just to remind, we are following the business decision. Who is belonging to the data? The data is belonging to the companies. Let us say companies, but associations, etc. The data belongs to them. We are running the central databases. And that is the main difference and principles between the registries and other way of thinking, just to say way of thinking, because there is still a way of thinking that this should be a part of the job of some other institutions. There are discussions. So, following the business decision is going to the document, written or electronical, checked, compliant by the company law with an identification, and document follows the data. The data follows by the document. So, that is the principle of the reliability and became the actual information. And we are living actually in the time of the information. Information as a supplier means that particular information or particular reports, so which is giving actually the knowledge. The knowledge, which means that publicly available information give the tool for the making the political, economical, etc., decisions and everyday business decision. So that kind of a knowledge we are speaking, from the data information databases till the databases of knowledge. Okay. Our registries are actually divided into the group, not divided, but we can follow them as in the group, the status, which means the legal entities of the companies, associations, foundations, media, etc., near 400,000 of the entities. Registries of financial, annual accounts, regional development, measuring, financial measuring, solvency, etc., factoring, contract. And the contracts registries, which means pledges, financial leasing, etc., the groups of the contracts which should be also sent into the central data basis, which all of those groups consist of information hub and a tool for the courts, tool for the one-stop shop, and tool for the further development. So today, actually the process looks very similar, I suppose, in any registry aggregation process or the aggregation process of the delivery of the data. And today it is almost very, next slide I would explain as a sort of the report. You can imagine here any country, any region which you want to estimate, but with the providing information, and for example, regional development register, you can provide further decisions on the local level, local municipalities, in a real-time update of the status data, how many companies in one municipality, for example, or in one region, how many contracts, how many pledges, what's happening actually, but in a real time. And that is quite a quality of information provided from the reliable databases. That is a sort of an aggregation into the real time. You can go further. So information hub. I'm very frustrated with this kind of a slide, but I'm quite sure that I'm not alone in this room with this frustration, since that I think that there is no institution in the country which is not asking the data from the registries. And the one-stop shop, and the imagination of what is one-stop shop, what we can deliver, who will pay that. Especially, I need to raise that kind of a question, since that we are different in the room. Some of us, me for example, are 100% self-financed, and whenever we send some sort of data, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining the business process and what should be sold in everyday use work. Whenever we send some data delivery, my experience is that the most expensive are the data which are free of charge. Most expensive and most frustrating. So the next picture of the one-stop shop presents what some authorities feel about the one-stop shop. Come, take, but not pay. Even in the usual shop, you need, of course, to pay the data and to pay the service, to pay initially the financing and cost model of the registry. But I hope we understand each other quite good, and that will be in the future a necessity to establish some kind of a common standard and common and further development of the survey, and further work and assistance to the public authorities, countries, governments, etc., etc. So you can go on this slide just to remind us where we have been before. It was not so far away from here. So it means before just 25, 30 years. And can we imagine actually where we will be, for example, for 10 years? It will be unbelievable, you know, development. And where we've been before 10 years, when we start actually with the survey, with this kind of a work, I just want to remind that we are not the companies. We are the state institutions par excellence. So we have had a very huge improvement for the better business life cycle and better support to our customers. I hope that for the 20 years the machines wouldn't replace us. There was some thinking about that, but some of us couldn't be replaced. Maybe they will renew us personally, put the new batteries inside, but I'm not sure that the machines will replace some work such as reporting and some kind of a building the new knowledge, since that we are working on a tool which means that a lot of knowledge, a lot of inventions we need in our homework. So I would like to thank you for your time, so you can ask us any question.
Well, due to the problems that we have had with the conference call, as I said, this panel session will be distributed in two parts. So we are going now to have lunch, and afterwards this session will continue with the other speakers. And after they have all made their presentation, we will have the questions from the floor and so on. So I think that we will be back here on 2:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And we are going to have lunch now.
Yeah.
It's upstairs.
Before we break for lunch, I would like to invite the presidency for IACA, for ASOLAC, and for CRF. Please come up here. We will have one showing us. We will have a meeting during the break. So otherwise, we'll meet back here 2:30, and I think that there will be people guiding you to where we will have the lunch. It will be outside, across the terrace.
Sorry. The lunch is in the same complex, but in another building. We have to cross the garden on that way. She's going to guide us, so we will make an order line following her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello? Please? We're back. Hello? Hello again. Sorry for those technical problems this morning. I think those problems are solved now. So we are going to begin with the movie. Zvonko wanted to show us. It couldn't possibly because he has done a great effort to have this movie for the conference, and it's not fair not to play it if we are able to it. So we'll begin with the Zvonko's movies, and then we will continue with the rest of the panel.
Just a few short words. It means this is a fourth slide, which means that a drawing on the establishing the institutions from the empty field, actually, and building the infrastructure, which means that the usual message with the decision making within the companies is follows by the register, which means the owner, official owner of the data are the companies, are the for example, in the register of associations, civil associations, we don't even register the foundators, just because of the freedom of the association, etc., etc. But we are registering, for example, only the legal representatives, and it means that when we compare our activity with activities of the courts in some countries which are involved in the registration, it means the freedom of the establishing of the companies. Means also the freedom of the establishing of all legal entities and following the decisions which were provided actually within the freedom of making any kind of a decision. So on the first slide it was the data and the information that we have 100,000 daily hits per day. So it means actually that as a result and as a figures in a small country, we are comparing with the Twitter, Google, and I don't know, Facebook, something on the 32nd place among all web pages, all sites which are visited by the population, all population. Since that we provide by the law on a Serbian Business Register Agency, and we provide the law on the registration proceedings in the Serbian Business Register Agency, which means whatever you want to do, the proceedings will be the same. Company, association, foundation, media, etc., etc., simple as possible, but followed with and this effective part, which means we wouldn't bury your file, you will bury your file actually and close your company with your own decision actually. And the business life cycle with the meaning of speaking means entry, maintenance and exit from the cycle, which is obviously well known to all of you. So thank you again.